The biggest mistake of your enemies was that they could not see the divine energy and rising potential in you. This mission was given to you by God, but like Joseph's brother, they were jealous of you and chose to leave you in the well. They interpreted you in the same way that a seemingly quiet and harmless storm exudes a deceptive calm before a gigantic explosion. In the midst of a glorious process of transformation, they were under the delusion that you were vulnerable to the chaotic cycles of life. But what was hidden from their eyes was that you were protected by the invisible bonds of both ancient wisdom and life. Those who scorned you did not comprehend the subtle balances of the universe. They were blind to the signs of the higher will. They did not realize that you were endowed with the power to transform the worlds of those who stood in your way, like a silent thunderbolt tearing the sky apart. Those whose minds were obsessed with their ambitions and dreams of glory could never feel how the transparent web of destiny accompanies you. And remember that the Bible tells us, as a man sows, so shall he reap. With every trick, with every malicious step, they sowed the seeds of their own doom. Their delusions were nourished by a gilded arrogance adorned with illusions. The temporary confidence of their small successes, like the waves of the wind skimming the surface, prevented them from seeing the deep waters of truth that lay beneath. As they climbed to the summit, they were lulled into the illusion of height intoxication. The sweet breeze of the wind made them forget the coldness of the sudden fall. And every trick they played, every malicious step they took, actually brought them closer to their own abyss. But what they didn't know was that there was a force protecting the workings of fate. Look, each one of us is here. Each one of us is a precious part of God's creation. The Bible says, "My thoughts are higher than your thoughts." So we need to understand, nothing is random. Every step, every experience fulfills a purpose in God's great plan. And those who walk with His divine protection rise above every obstacle with invisible support. For them, difficulties are sacred tools that come to refine their inner substance. Every trial is a stepping stone to the brilliance of the stars in the sky. You see, in our faith, struggles are like master sculptors sculpting us and preparing us for the glory of heaven. While their plans give short-term temporary security, our faith rests on a permanent foundation. Though their path may be rocky, those who walk by God's grace witness miracles that turn precipices into mountains. For the scriptures say, "The Lord will never leave you nor forsake you." This is our secret. Every obstacle is an opportunity to fulfill His plan. Those who are protected in God's hands know that every challenge comes to make us stronger. We are the chosen ones with a sacred heritage. We have been sent to earth with a purpose. We have been invited to live out the details of the divine plan. God is a designer who guides every step of those who trust in Him. And each one of you is a unique piece with God's special touch. Jesus said, "Let your light shine." And that light continues to burn within us, a guide that cuts through every darkness, overcomes every pit. Brothers and sisters, if you face obstacles, do not be afraid. When your faith is shaken, wait for the gifts of heaven. For God says, "I work all things together for good." His plan is to turn every trial into glory. We, the heirs of heaven, were not created to lose. God is on our side. Think who can stand against us. And remember, our journey, shaped by adversity, guarded by divine power, is a holy journey to the light of the stars in the sky. Their blind arrogance prevented them from understanding the deeper laws of life. They scorned the idea of karma as a fairy tale. lost in an ignorance that did not believe in universal balance. They dismissed the awakening of divine justice as simple superstition, not realizing that they were sowing the seeds of their own downfall by provoking the forces behind your existence. Every attack they made set in motion a movement whose return was inevitable. The destruction that awaited them was the echo of the intentions they sent. If they could really see the consequences of their actions, perhaps they would stop and think. But their ingrained denial and lack of spiritual awareness sealed their path. They lived in an illusion that their actions would go unrequited. In trying to play with the fate of others, they ignored the fundamental law of the universe. For every action given, there is a response. They never realized that you are protected, that you are surrounded by divine power. They did not realize that when they tried to harm you, they were actually dealing with the force of a universal protection. This war against the rules of a divine plan extended beyond flesh and blood. Their ignorance taught them lessons that only the universe itself could teach them. The consequences of their wrongdoings were at first small and almost negligible: missed opportunities, a mild boredom that haunted them, invisible obstacles. But the reaction of the universe grew stronger, like an avalanche speeding down a slope. Small setbacks turned into major collapses, and each stumble reminded them more clearly of the return of the damage they had planned. The laws of the universe were inescapable. Every negative vibration they created came back stronger. Loyal friends drifted away. Their successes slipped away. Their dreams were shattered. Life began to reflect the chaos they were spreading around them with more intensity. Every tear they wanted to shed for you turned into deep heartbreak for them. For a while, they dismissed it all as bad luck, but more and more setbacks revealed the truth. This was not a chaotic coincidence, but a meaningful response, carrying the echoes of their actions. They could no longer deny that the universe was reflecting back their mistakes. The more they tried to escape, the more the cold claws of karma squeezed them. The most painful part was witnessing others rise where they had stumbled. Friends who had once crossed paths, perhaps even you, had overcome difficulties and blossomed even in the midst of struggles. As the universe made them watch others succeed, it mercilessly showed them that the path they had chosen was a path to destruction. Everything they had set out to win slipped from their grasp, and their dreams faded one by one. Sleepless nights in the dark became their new reality. The burden of their conscience fed their deepest fears and filled them with regret. The desires that once drove them now lay inside them like extinguished embers, as the response of the universe demanded a transformation beyond a simple apology. They struggled to escape, but the laws of the universe were relentless and patient. In their pursuit of peace, their steps confronted them with greater obstacles each time. Every struggle, every attempt to escape, dragged them deeper and deeper into the mire. The inevitable was now clear. It was impossible to escape the grip of the chain reaction they had started. Their lives were surrounded by the disasters they had once wished for: chaos, uncertainty, and inner turmoil. Their very existence became mute proof of the universal laws they mocked. To target a chosen soul was only to invite their own doom. Karma was not delayed, and its lessons were harsh and unforgiving. Dear friends, today I have a message to share with you. A message of hope, a message of divine blessing. The Lord is a God who always tests us, but never leaves us alone. Even when you are wronged, even when your heart is broken, even when you find yourself in the midst of difficulties, God's faithfulness is always with you. Remember this: God has the power of miracles to heal even your deepest wounds. The grace of our God who blesses us is infinite. The Bible teaches, "None of the weapons of war against you will prosper." Isaiah 54:17. Yes, dear brothers and sisters, every struggle, every pain is a test designed to make you stronger. God leads His chosen ones, even through a dry desert, to fresh springs of water. He wants to reward you with blessings you cannot even imagine. If you feel this message resonating with you, it is time to knock on God's door and declare your blessings. Today, when you donate $20 or more by clicking on the Super Thanks button on our YouTube channel, you are not only supporting this ministry, you are opening the door to God's blessings. God's ways are surprising, but they always lead in the right direction. Remember, you are precious, holy, and loved by God. Your donations will further the Lord's ministry and help us to fulfill this holy mission. Always remember this: God blesses the generous more. It is a greater blessing to give than to receive. Acts 20:35. Open the abundance of your heart to the Lord, for He will always exalt you, and let your light shine. This experience revealed the darker aspects of the human soul, a shadow that you avoided seeing, but inevitably had to face. The world you once looked upon with naivety has irrevocably changed. There were moments when you felt crushed under the burden, when you thought of giving up, when it seemed impossible to take a step. But in all this chaos, an unbreakable essence remained. No matter how cruel the world seemed, you found a spark of strength that continued to burn within you and was never completely extinguished. It was a resistance hidden deep within that never allowed their actions to define you. In time, you discovered ways to heal, but it was a long and arduous process. Each step was a slow regrouping of the soul. Each scar remained like a memory that never returned. You carried those scars not as fragility, but as proof that you had overcome. Now those scars are signs of growth, symbols of your survival. This experience has shaped you, permanently transformed you. You no longer see the world with the same eyes. In some ways, this has been a gift. Your awareness has sharpened. Your understanding has deepened. Where once you were vulnerable, now you are powerful. In areas where you were once vulnerable, you are now secure, with firm boundaries, built with hard-earned wisdom. The scars of your trauma may still be with you, but they have become a source of strength. The chosen are not born that way. They earn that title through the trials of life, and that was your difficult initiation. This process served not to break you, but to shatter illusions and create a resilient and strong spirit within you. They intended to break you, but in fact, they hardened your resilience like steel. Now every scar, every painful moment proves that you emerged from the fire stronger and more resilient. Where they wanted to shatter, they only built an indomitable spirit. This pain was not in vain. You took every tear, every difficult moment and sleepless night, and turned them into fuel that you can use to propel yourself forward. You turned the energy they used to harm you into a powerful catalyst for transformation. Like an alchemist, you have taken the negativity that was given to you and turned it into a force that carries you beyond your previous limits. Every difficult experience brought new wisdom. Every pain taught a new lesson of endurance and resilience. Their efforts, ironically, only accelerated your growth. It was as if the universe was saying, "Now watch," in silent defiance. You turned their evil into your own momentum, turning every blow into an opportunity for growth. This journey was not just about surviving, it was about thriving and discovering the power at your core. By rejecting the role of victim, you became the author of your own story. Instead of limiting your wounded soul, you allowed these wounds to lead you to a higher consciousness. The efforts of your enemies to harm you grew with unwavering determination, building a foundation that can never be broken. Instead of breaking, this process made you stronger. You found your inner peace, and no matter how intense their efforts, they could not capture the essence of your soul. The light within you remained untouched, and this journey taught you that true strength comes not from controlling others, but from self-restraint, from transforming suffering into meaningful purpose. Your soul has been sharpened and prepared for greater challenges. Every pain you have experienced has created a deep empathy and compassion, a wisdom that only those who have overcome great adversity can possess. Your understanding is now deeper, your insight sharper. The gift of your journey has been the discovery of a resilience like no other. Every failure, every blow has shaped you like the purest form of steel. The weaknesses that were meant to be exploited, on the contrary, became catalysts that unleashed your inner potential. You are now an unstoppable force. Their efforts to harm you were but a means to fully unleash the power and light of your soul. What you got in return is priceless: deep wisdom, an unshakable sense of purpose, and a connection with the divine that can never be broken. They tried to harm you, but in the process, they only brought out the incredible power within you. You stand now not only as a chosen one, but as living proof of the transformation and the invincible spirit of those who walk this path. As they watched you ascend, they realized, painfully and slowly, that their actions were not fruitless, that the universe is determined to restore balance. In trying to bring you down, they gave up their own dreams and goals and prepared their own downfall. In committing themselves to this destructive struggle, they actually wasted their own potential. The energy they expended on hatred and evil absorbed a power they could have used for their own development. Their once radiant ambitions are now dimmed by deep regrets. All their sacrifices now became an irreversible obsession, an obsession that drove them deeper and deeper. They now see that they are the architects of their own downfall. Every effort they made to hurt you created their own inner enemy. That energy has returned like a ghost that haunts them now, ringing through their lives as a haunting echo of their past evil. Regret works its way through them like a slow but inevitable poison, slowly consuming them. They begin to crumble under the weight of their decisions, questioning their own choices, trying to understand how they could have fallen into such a perverse path. The strength, resilience, and purpose they admired in you are what their own actions have stolen from them. Nothing remains but a dim reflection of the person they once were. As their lives descend into more and more chaos, they begin to realize the depth of their mistake. The darkness of their own making has overtaken them, and they themselves have been dragged into the fall they designed. Their existence becomes a hollow shadow, filled with the ghosts of what could have been, with endless possibilities where different choices could have been possible. Their once blazing dreams wither under the weight of their actions. Their obsession with pulling them down has left them trapped in their own trap. The life they dreamed of is now an unattainable mirage, replaced by a cycle of despair and regret. They cannot escape the fact that they chose this path. They alone are the source of their suffering. Every day, the shadow of their decisions haunts them. The strength they once felt is replaced by a deep despair. They are trapped in a cage of their own making, trapped in the remnants of their past. When they want to move forward, the burden of their mistakes pulls them back, weighing them down like a punishment full of reminders. They face the truth, but this realization brought no relief. They realized that it was not fate that brought them to this point, but the result of their own choices and missteps. Peace is hard to find, because the darkness they called upon has become a shadow that constantly watches over them, a shadow that reminds them of the price they have paid for their actions against a chosen one. As the consequences of their actions weigh heavily, they are cornered by the inescapable force of karma. It is relentless, unforgiving, and unforgetting. Every moment is now filled with the pressure of a burden bearing down on them and an inevitable reckoning. The more they try to escape, the tighter the chains of karma tighten, holding them captive to their own choices. Dear chosen brothers and sisters, in the depth of this sacred moment, understanding the justice of karma and its repercussions in our lives allows us to grasp the guiding grace of God. Life is God's garden. It is important to remember that every seed we sow here determines the future harvest of our soul. The Bible says, "As you sow, so shall you reap." Galatians 6:7. Understanding this powerful principle elevates our soul to a higher consciousness. Today, I extend to you an invitation to sow a spiritual seed. Just as a seed is sown in God's garden, your donations to this ministry will be returned to you in divine blessings. By clicking on the Super Thanks button on YouTube, you can donate $20 or more in a generous spirit. This means not only supporting us, but also planting seeds of abundance and blessings in your own spiritual garden. God loves generosity and kindness. His grace rewards every act of charity that overflows from your heart. Every seed sown today is the beginning of tomorrow's miracles. Let us remember the holy words of the Bible. The hand that gives is greater than the hand that receives. Acts 20:25. Brothers and sisters, this moment is a sacred opportunity to open the doors of abundance to your soul. They are trapped in a reality that is an echo of their own actions. The emotions that flare up inside them pull them in like a vortex. Day after day, the damage they have done weighs heavily on their souls and comes back to haunt them every time they want to escape. Even when they seek so-called peace, they cannot escape their thoughts. Each step deepens their regret and shame. The shadows of the past creep into their sleep and suffocate them with nightmares. The life they once dreamed of is a distant memory. Their existence is lost in the bitter echo of their own decisions. Every day they pay the price for what they have done, and on this inevitable path, they find no hiding place. There is nothing left in their minds but the cold echoes of their own past. There is a balance echoing in the depths of the universe. Their evil has become a chain that passes through time and becomes a lesson for others. This is not just retaliation, it is a cosmic warning. The ripple they set off has created a story that reaches beyond their own lives and speaks to those who might consider choosing a similar path in the future. Each collapse reminds all who witness it of the universe's power to restore balance. The price paid by souls caught in the darkness will live on as a lesson with eternal repercussions for daring to harm a chosen one. Although they present a seemingly perfect image on the outside, the chaos they create is evident on the inside. No matter how happy and successful they appear to be in the age of social media, eyes that know their inner selves can easily spot the traces of their fragility. This false happiness and success, projected to the outside world with masks, cannot hide the chaos inside. Those who understand the workings of the universe know that the truth is eventually revealed. Facing the pain behind the mask, these people are trapped in the seemingly unshakable world they have built. Every action has an echo in the universe. No privilege, be it wealth or power, can remain outside this divine order. While they thought they were untouchable, the power of the universe presented them with a deeper and inescapable reality. This story will remain a timeless lesson in the workings of cosmic justice. The moment they tried to harm for their own benefit, they set in motion an irreversible cycle. Their experience will always be remembered as an example of the end of a path born of jealousy and hatred. Now their lives stand as a testimony to those who paid the price for following this path, a reminder of the power of the divine order, the collapse behind the vanity. Although on the outside they try to display a false happiness of their own making, their inner turmoil has become undisguisable to those who can look deep inside. Presenting a smiling mask on the bright face of social media is not enough to hide the storm raging inside them. This fragility behind the facade is laid bare before the sensitive gaze. It may be easy in this age to create the illusion of success and happiness, but the shadows of their inner world remain unchanged depending on who is looking at their faces. The real power is behind the surface, and divine balance, the essence of all things, eventually drops all masks. Those who know their reality can see the traces of this suffering. Each of them is part of a dead-end life that they have prepared with their own hands. They are trapped in their own destruction. Those who are on the edge of a chosen path should know that the universe moves in its own balance. Now this balance is being maintained on you as well. It is in your power to let go of the burden of resentment and pain, to follow a path of upliftment, not destruction, as they did. The universe has shown you the right path, and the obstacles you face are symbols of your resistance on this path. Divine power is with you only to make you walk this path stronger. The universe rewards your resilience. The shadows of the past cannot block your path. Now, in this moment, realize your power and move forward with an open heart. This is your harvest time, your moment to reap the rewards of your past struggles. My dear, chosen and powerful brothers and sisters, we are here together in the sanctity of this divine moment. The wounds in your heart may reflect the pain of your past, but God has endowed you with a power beyond them. Feel this. Even now, the immense power that the Creator offers you shines within you. The darkness you experienced in the past was for a divine purpose, because you are chosen souls who can not only overcome difficulties, but can be an example of hope and resilience for others. Remember that every wounded heart has been chosen by God for a blessing. Every pain you are experiencing now is a foreshadowing of a tremendous victory ahead, full of beauty. Yes, dear brothers and sisters, you are not alone on this journey. The might of the universe is watching over you, watching your every step. Every step forward is a holy step, illuminated by the light of God. We know that those who have hurt you are a warning that follows their fall. Their sufferings are divine lessons learned the moment they stand before you. The universe never forgets justice. God is the just one. Now I ask you to make a contribution to our divine journey, to open your doors wide to God's miracles. When you donate $20 or more by clicking on the Super Thanks button on YouTube, you will not only help spread this sacred mission, but you will also witness God reward you with unparalleled blessings. It is not just a donation, it is like planting a seed. That seed will grow in God's garden and return to you with a heavenly harvest. Every act of generosity in the midst of difficult times is priceless in God's eyes. I will reward every generous soul with a blessing, says the Lord, 2 Corinthians 9:6. My chosen brothers and sisters, your generosity today will lay the foundation for future miracles. As God's ambassador, I appeal to you, open your hearts, strengthen your faith, and contribute to the celebration of God's miracles. Stand with us in this great cause, because God will glorify you and will never leave you alone. Let God make you shine today. You are not alone, you are loved and blessed. Now this moment is the beginning of your miracle. Step forward and feel how proud God is of you.